linkages. Anyway, her experience then descends down to the respective Brahma Srishti owing to her subjective identification of long standing with that Brahma Srishti, who then feels as if he or she, that is the Brahma Srishti present in our world, too is present right before Aksharatit Purushottama. You know, the concept of spiritual linkages had to be developed by me to grasp and clearly explain also about such possibilities that Tartam Bani clearly says these are going to happen, these are bound to occur with 12,000 Brahma Srishtis while having audience with the Purushottama, the way Sadguru and Mahamati Pranana ji had. All others are also going to have the same audience. Such experiences are termed by me as their having an audience with Purushottama. People call it Brahma Sakshatkar and all that sort of thing. Here, in the context of Tartam Bani, I am saying this. Such experiences are termed by me as their having an audience with Purushottama, that is all the Brahma Srishtis. I also feel this experiencing descending down from a Paratma located at Aksharatit level to the spiritually linked Brahma Srishti located at our level is termed by Bhagavatam and other Hindu scriptures as Avatarana, say manifestation of Kalki in the world. Yeah, that's what I feel. Accordingly, I would say that such manifestation of Kalki would occur in all the 12,000 persons of Brahma Srishti caliber, same as those whom Bhagavatam terms as Paramahansas caliber. They were once spiritually linked with respective Paratmas, as per Tartam Bani. A few verses found towards the end of chapter 23 of 11th Skanda of Bhagavatam almost equate the term Paratmanishtha with Brahmanishtha. It was disclosed by Sri Krishna to his disciple called Uddhava, again without anyway explaining the term Paratma. In the 23rd chapter of Bhagavatam, 11 Skanda, it seems to suggest that getting established in any Paratma is the same as being established in Brahma. The ultimate reality, I could not locate any instance in scriptures that employed the term Paratma and also elucidated it. It was never elucidated by any scripture what Paratma is, where it is located, at what level. And here Tartam is saying that all the 12,000 Brahma Srishtis will awaken their Paratmas. They will shed their delusions and they will experience Purushottama, of course, one by one. Anyway, under such circumstances, it was only natural that commentators should have translated Paratma, the term Paratma, sometimes as Atma and at other times as Paramatma, that is the God or Purushottama. This was observed while perusing particularly the commentaries on the text of Adhyatma Ramayana. Several such instances are cited in my book of 17th century Revelations. But anyone who has studied Tartam Bani would certainly say that both these interpretations are incorrect. That is, Paratma is neither an Atma nor Paramatma. Other scriptures wrongly, the commentators do that. It's not so. In fact, as per Tartam Bani, the Paratma's spiritual status lies between that of Atma, termed in Gita 5/21 as a Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma, and Brahma, the Paramatma or Purushottama. That is, Paratma is located between an Atma, that is called Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma in Gita, and Paramatma or the Purushottama. Reverting to the incident relating to effectiveness of Bhagavatam, it was convincingly demonstrated in 1618 AD during lifetime of Sadguru, spanning from 1581 to 1655 AD. He had his audience with God, the Purushottama, when his linked Paratma named Sundarbai shed her delusion to find herself right in the presence of Purushottama. Sadguru became recipient of her experience, that is Sundarbai's experience, owing to his subjective identification with that Paratma. This is clearly told also in biographical accounts furnished by the disciples of Mahamati Prannath. Did Bhagavatam's Mahatmya refer to this very event that took place in the life of Sri Devachandraji? So, did Bhagavatam's Mahatmya refer to this very event by esoterically disclosing that its effectiveness was demonstrated after 260 years of Kali Yuga had elapsed? That is 2850 BC. There's a time distortion, great time distortion. I must confess, it would not have been possible for me to spot such a possible connection between what Bhagavatam reports as an event of long past and what can now be said to be a future happening, but for a disclosure of Tartam Vani. I was inspired to explore the matter only after I happened to read yet again the two verses of Tartam Vani that I had hardly paid much attention to. Those verses have been cited in my Hindi book, Tartam Sagar Ke Moti. They convey what scriptures do at times narrate as future events in a manner as if those related to happenings of the past. It's amazing. People hardly realize what scriptures say. I would read out now and explain the two verses of Marfat Sagar 5/32 and 57th verse of 9th chapter. एक किस्से आखरत के पढ़े डारे गुजरों में, काम कयामत का रोशन होसी इन्हीं किस्सों में, इन किस्सों में. It means that Akhirat is the end times of, in my opinion, Bible. And even perhaps Quran also makes a similar reference. The happenings of the end times, people read and say as if these have already happened, as if they have already taken place. Kaam Kayamat Ka Roshan, the work that is going to take place through the 12,000 Brahma Srishtis. That is what Tartam Vani refers to as Kayamat. Kaam Kayamat Ka Roshan. Kayamat means end times, absolute end of the world, annihilation. Let me now recollect what Bhagavatam says. It talks of 4 types of pralayas. Kayamat and pralaya are equivalent, but to which of Bhagavatam's pralaya does this Kayamat refer? It refers to Atyantika pralaya. In that pralaya, the world may continue to remain as such, but only for those blessed jivas, the blessed human beings. It will cease to exist. The world remains, but they will never experience the world again. That is the Atyantik pralaya. And Bhagavatam clearly says that after that people get connected with Paramatma. So here it says, एक किस्से आखरत के पढ़े डारे गुजरों में, काम कयामत का रोशन होसी इन किस्सों में. Tartam Vani says that the scriptural statements of what has happened, these are not that way. These are going to take place in future in this 1200 years period of Tartam Vani.
People take literal meaning.
People take literal meaning.
Events has been in the past, but
And it is supposed to be taking place.
In the present or in the future.
Yeah. If people take cognizance of this, then they will realize the great times they are living in. Anyway, किस्से कुरान तौरेत के पढ़े डालत पीठ पाछल, कहे हो गए किस्से रात में यो इनो खोया फजर बका फल. That is, they consider that these things that are happening now in our world have happened in past, and that is how they are missing out on getting the fruits of what are to take place, what people are going to be given during these times.
The charm of present.
Yeah, they will not be able to take advantage, they will not work enthusiastically to receive those fruits. Anyway, we may as well see now how Tartam Vani has approximately pointed out at the time when Sadguru has had his audience with, and also at task that was allotted to him by Purushottama. These verses clearly say, talk of the time, that is 17th century, around the period 1618 AD, when Sadguru had his first audience with Purushottama. And the task that was allotted to him, the Purushottama gave him the task of awakening others, other Paratmas. I would now read out the following two verses and explain them. They appear in Kirantan 53 as verse 1 and 2. These are cited on page number 219 of my Hindi book TSKM. तारतम सागर के मोती. धनी जी ध्यान तुम्हारे रे, धनी मेरे ध्यान तुम्हारे, बैठे बुध जी बरस सहस 4, 6 से 60 बीता समय, दुनिया को भयो आचार. In this verse, Taratam Vani says that Buddhaji, the great one who was expected to appear in the end times, he has waited for 4,660 years. Those are the times that Taratam Vani says that the great Buddhaji had to await to awaken his Paratma and to have an audience with God, the Purushottama. Hindu, Musalman re, firange kai जातें, Hodi, Bodhi, Jain apar, even Jains are included. Vade, so Brodh Badharya. But these people, Ivad Vivad, in the debates, they have only created conflicts. Kari, Agni, Udaykar, and in their heart, in their bodies, they have burnt unnecessarily with fire. It was unnecessary. Ego. And Hindus, Musalmans, Firangi means others, Europeans, Hodi, Bodhi, Jain apart, even the Jains, they had conflicts with Hindus at the time. And this is what I would like to now refer to. I would say these two verses too seem saying, like Bhagavatam's Mahatmya had done, that this incident was planned by God to occur when debates and conflicts were taking place among people of faiths having roots in India, and also with those of invaders. Jainism is of India, the religion. Taratam Vani too says that it would have happened at a time when 4,660 years would have elapsed, presumably of Kali Yuga. That approximately points at the time of birth of the Sadguru in 1581 AD. At 31 and you get 3100 and you get 4581 AD. 4681 AD. He was born in a place called Umarkot, now in Pakistan, whose ruler was of Jain faith. And he was averse to Vaishnava school of thought that the Sadguru's family had followed. This has been brought out by a disciple of Mahamati Pranath in his biographical material. ये काट देना पड़ेगा, biological नहीं है.
One more. Continue.
This has been brought out by a disciple of Mahamati Pranath in his biographical material. That is Mahamati's biographical material, Sadguru's biographical material, as can be seen in Navarang Vani, in 6th Prakarana of Sundar Sagar. It says very clearly that Sadguru's family, parents, they were following Vaishnava principles and the ruler was Jain. He did not like this, but since Sadguru's father was a relatively moneyed man, an influential man, he could not do much. He realized that he would not like to align the rest of the population against him. So he kept quiet. Anyway, what Purushottama revealed to Sadguru during the said audience, we can look at that now. It has been summed up in few verses cited on page 218 of my Hindi book. I will first read out ए बीतक कहूँ सैयन को जाहिर देऊँ बताए मोहे जगाई पिया ने मैं देऊँ सब जगाए. This is what is narrated. It is said that I was awakened directly by Purushottama. Piya means Purushottama, the beloved of the Paratmas. These words are spoken by the personages living in India in 17th century. But the words were dictated by the Paratmas, the awakened Paratmas. And that awakened Paratma as if says that I have been awakened by Purushottama directly through his efforts. And it needs to be told to everyone. मैं जाहिर देऊँ बताए. It has to be said. मोहे जगाई पिया ने मैं देऊँ सब जगाए. It is my job now to awaken rest of the other Brahma Srishtis and through them their Paratmas. These are clearly the words of Sundarbai, the Paratma linked with Sadguru. She seems informing other deluded Paratmas of God's plan. This is the God's plan that I was talking about. This is what Tartamani reveals. Not directly but via their linked Brahmasrishti is present in perishable Kshar creation. The verse says, Sundarbai had been awakened directly by Purushottama, her Lord, as it was an essential first step in his scheme of things, in his scheme of awakening other Paratmas. It also says that Sundarbai was asked to awaken others, meaning through the efforts of Sadguru linked with that Paratma. Awakening Sundarbai was the first step of that Purushottama took as the wisdom of Tartam Vani, so essential in his scheme of things, had not then been manifested in the world. That means in absence of Tartam Vani, even the Purushottama could not have left it for the Brahma Srishtis and their Paratmas to awaken on their own. It was just not possible. Purushottama therefore took the effort to awaken the first Paratma Sundarbai and through her to give the wisdom of Tartam to rest of the people. Looking at what unfolded in the 17th century, the Sadguru was actually made an instrument by God to initiate gradual awakening of remaining Paratmas. This needs to be clearly understood. All the Paratmas have not awakened. This was only the beginning. That was accomplished by manifesting through him the first part of Tartam Vani. We need to keep this in mind. Though the Sadguru was one of the Paramhans category, though he was that for whom revered sage Vedvyas had composed the text of Bhagavatam, he still was not exposed to the wisdom of Tartam Vani, simply because it had not been disclosed in the world by then. But he still had very enthusiastically made efforts to grasp what Bhagavatam endeavored to convey. He would have grasped enough of its essence by the year 1618 AD. Moreover, he was one of the prominent gopis who had enacted the Braj and Rasa Leelas narrated in it. Tartam Vani connects that. Tartam Vani says that all these Brahma Srishtis had at one time been the gopis who, in the company of Shri Krishna, in whom the Purushottama principle was present in full blast proportion, they had enacted Braj Leela and Rasa Leela with Shri Krishna. That was an essential first step. That must have been enough for God to intervene directly to awaken the Paratma Sundarbai linked with Sadguru of Paramahans caliber. Such a momentous happening created a stir among the Sadguru's small Vaishnavite group at Jamnagar in India. They started revering him as their Sadguru. That is how he is still referred to as Sadguru. Well, it was the first step that God took, aimed at setting in motion his scheme of awakening remaining Paratmas via the agency of Sadguru. Tartam Vani calls it the scheme of Jagni, that is a spiritual awakening. to the highest level of God's reality. It needs to be understood that not only will Paratma, the deluded Paratma, who was till now experiencing the Kshar world through her spiritually connected Brahma Srishti, not only the Paratma shall awaken and have the audience with God again, Purushottama, but even the Brahma Srishti shall have that audience. This is the beauty of the scheme. They started revering all those associated with him as their Sadguru. Well, it was the first step that God took, aimed at setting in motion his scheme of awakening remaining Paratmas via the agency of Sadguru. TV calls it the scheme of Jagani, says a spiritual awakening to highest level of God's reality. Perhaps that is answering your question, what was the God's level of reality, highest that too? Let us call it the first, most crucial step taken by God in 1618 AD, keeping in mind an overall plan of eventually awakening all the other Paratmas. By the way, Maharaj Thakur, who got later known as Mahamati Prananath, was born in the same year, that is 1618 AD. An amazing coincidence. God conveyed many spiritual truths to the group associated with Sadguru by always remaining within the Sadguru and speaking through the Sadguru. We learn from his biographical literature called Bitaks that many of those around him, that is around Mahamati Prananath, were of the Paramahansa category of Bhagavatam. That Tartamani calls them as Brahma Srishti, and one of them was Maharaj Thakur, who later became known as Mahamati Prananath. It was not his actual name. As per his extensive biographical literature, only a part of the required spiritual truths could be verbally disclosed by the Sadguru to Mahamati Prananath. That is Mahamati Prananath connected with the Sadguru when he was 12 years old, that is around 1630 AD. With his divine sight, the Sadguru foresaw a great potential in Maharaj Thakur, Mahamati Prananath of future, and gave him full support to have his linked Paratma Indravati awakened. Alas, unfortunately, that could not be accomplished before he passed away in 1655 AD. So, he was made an instrument by God to begin disclosing via a truly mysterious process the first part of 8,000 verses or so of Tartamani. These were revealed via Maharaj Thakur. That mysterious process began in the year 1657 AD and continued till about 1678 AD. That way, the Aksharatit Purushottama awakened a Paratma named Indravati also. Indravati was spiritually linked with Sri Maharaj Thakur, and thus Maharaj Thakur also was rewarded, the great dazzling reward, he was rewarded with audience with Purushottama. He also received audience with Purushottama, but via the efforts of Sadguru. That event, entitled Sri Maharaj Thakur to be called as Mahamati, says the 5th verse of 9th chapter of Kalash Hindustani. Let me read that. Hui pehchan piyuso तब कयो महामती नाम, अब मैं हुई ज़ाहिर देखा वतन श्री धाम. That is, only after I had an audience with Purushottama, I was called in this world as Mahamati. The word Mahamati needs therefore to be understood as someone of this world who has awakened his Paratma, his or her Paratma, and experienced the Aksharatit Purushottama who is present in the Aksharatit Loka, not in this world. Now, the next line of this verse says, Ab main hui zahir, dekhya vatan Shri Dham. After I have seen the Aksharatit Loka, Shri Dham, I have become well known in the world as Mahamati. It says clearly, only when Maharaj Thakur's spirit had an audience with Purushottama present in Shri Dham, another name for Aksharatit Loka, that he got entitled to be called as Mahamati. This needs to be clearly understood. Any and everyone is not a Mahamati. The Aksharatit Purusha present in that Loka is much more frequently termed in Tartamvani as Shri Rajji. That perhaps explains why his Loka is alluded in this verse as Shri Dham. Wherever Shri Rajji stays, it is Shri Dham. Otherwise, it is normally termed as Paramadham in Tartamvani. In my opinion, the audience would have taken place only when he attained a rarest of rare consciousness called Turiyatita in Yoga Vasishta. Anyway, after that first experience, he went on having such audiences with Purushottama, on and off, time and again, till 1694 AD, when he too passed away. It is worth repeating that the term awakening used by me in context of Tartamvani relates equally to each of the 12,000 embodied entities that are present in three altogether different lokas, but spiritually linked one with another. That is 12,000 Brahmasrishtis, 12,000 Brahma Yoga Yukta Atmas, that is those Atmas who are connected with the level of Brahma. How? Through Paratmas. Each of the 12,000 trios has only one entity aware or conscious of its own existence in its own loka. Earlier, Paratma and Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma used to experience as if they are a Brahma Srishti. Later, when Atma awakens, the Paratma and Brahma Srishti will experience as if they are that Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma. But when Paratma awakens, the Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma as well as Brahma Srishti shall experience themselves as if they are that very Paratma. So, each of the 12,000 trios has only one entity aware or conscious of its own existence in its own loka. The other two entities keep receiving its experiences, thereby effectively forming subjective identification with that entity which is aware of its own loka. Other two are not aware of their loka at that time. Thus, the three entities for every trio are the personage of Brahma Srishti category present in our Kshar perishable loka, the Brahma Yoga Yukta Atma present in imperishable Akshara loka, and finally the Paratma present in Aksharatita loka. So, when any Brahma Srishti is conscious of or say aware of its existence in Kshara loka, other two of the trio are totally unconscious of or unaware of their bodily existence in two higher lokas. Their bodies are present in those two lokas. Still, they are unaware. They as if feel they are that Brahma Srishti. The two totally identify themselves with the Brahma Srishti they were earlier linked with by God. In their delusion, the two verily feel as if they exist in Ksharaloka in form of that Brahma Srishti. In short, all the three feel as if they are they are that Brahma Srishti. Not only Brahma Srishti, but the other two also feel they are the Brahma Srishti. When the Atma awakens to its real existence in Aksharaloka, and this happens after the Brahma Srishti abandons its fascination with Ksharaloka, then remaining two of the trio come to subjectively identify with that Atma too. Both the Paratma and Brahma Srishti would then experience as if they had risen from Ksharaloka to Aksharaloka and have now become the Atma of that trio. In other words, all three of the trio who had once experienced themselves as Brahma Srishti would later come to identify themselves as the linked Atma. In last stage, when the Paratma awakens, remaining two of the trio too would experience themselves as that linked up Paratma. In God's scheme of things, the 12,000 interlocal spiritual linkages were arranged so that at least 12,000 linked up entities of each